So let's go back to our project. So here, so let's keep the home.jsx. So here inside our components, let's add, or inside our src, let's add another folder. Let's call it custom. So we need a custom component that will validate the data. So let's call it use validation.jsx. And what will this component do? So first we will receive, but before we receive the file, so we need to add function first, like we have done inside our, so where is the use validation? So this one, use file validator. So we need to do the same thing. So we need to add first the function, which is this one. So let's copy and paste here inside our components. So let's organize the code, and now we have the validate file. So we have here the file. So we will receive the file. First we have allowed types, like we have done image, JPEG, PNG, WebP. We need the max size in bytes, which is 5 megabytes. And first we check if we have the error. So instead of using the timeout here, we don't need it. So we toast. Let's import also the toast. So let's see. So it's not imported. Okay. So first, as I told you, if we don't have a file, we display the message, please select file, image, or an image to upload, and we return false. Next, if we have or if the type or if the file type is not JPEG, image, or PNG and WebP, so we display a message, invalid file type, only JPEG, PNG, WebP are allowed. Okay. Next, we check for the size. If the size is greater than 5 megabytes, we display an error message. File is too large. The maximum size is 5 megabytes. And finally, we return true if nothing of these checks is true. Okay. Next, what we need to do, we need to return. So here, instead of returning a div, so we will return the function which is validate the file. Okay, so now we return the validate file. And also, before we use the validate file, we need to import so the toast. So let's change it here to toast. And we need here the toast. Not the toast, but from React Toastify. So let's change it to Toastify, and here let's remove the React, since we are not returning. So we are only returning the function that we have here. Okay. So now we can use this function to validate the data, or to validate the files that the user has chosen. So let's go back. So let's close this one, and let's go back to our home.jsx. So here what we need to do. So now we can use it, as I told you. And to use it, let's go to the top. So we need it in the first function, which is display image. So before we preview the image, so we need to check if the file is valid. Okay, so we use the validate file, but before let's import it first. So we need to import the validate file. So let's here define a variable, and we can now get the validate file from the use validation, and now we can use it. So don't forget to import the use validation here. Now we can use it. So let's go down. So where is the display? So here is the display. So now we can use it if the file is valid. So we give is the file. So we display the image. If not, we will display the errors. Okay. The same thing when we compress the image. So we need to do the same thing. Okay. Let's do the same thing here. And close. Okay. So let's check and see if it is working or not. So let's refresh, or it's already refreshed, just to remove all the errors. So let's hit compress. So why it's done? So let's go back. So I think I have moved e.prevent default inside the test. So let's bring it out of the if. Okay. So let's do that again. Or let's go back to or let's refresh. Let's do that again. So nothing shows here. Why it's not showing the error message? So as you can see, file is not defined. Where is it? So inside our compress image. So inside our compress image function. So here, instead of using file inside our compress image function, because here we are not receiving the file, so we receive only the event, so we can use the file info dot file selected, which is the file that the user has selected, because here when we display the image, so we update the file selected and we give us the file. So now we have the file, we can check for it. Okay. So let's do that again. So as you can see, please select an image to upload. Let's refresh the page just to be sure. So please select an image to upload. So let's drag and drop a file that is not an image. So here is our file. So let's drop it here. So as you can see, invalid file type, only JPG, PNG, WebP are allowed. Okay. So let's check for the size. If we choose file that is bigger than 5 megabytes. So here is our file. So let's drop it here. So as you can see, file is too large. The maximum size is 5 megabytes. Okay. So let's now choose an image that is less than 5 megabytes. So here is our image. So let's drop it. So as you can see now, we can compress and download image. Okay. So now we need to move to the final thing in this project, which is resetting the fields. So we need to reset the fields to the default values. Okay, so let's do that. So we need another function like we have done. So let's move to the home.view. So we need another function, which is the reset fields. Okay, let's copy and reuse it here. So now we have the reset fields function. So all we need to do now here is to change first. So let's set file info and we give it the initial image states, and we need also, so here we need parentheses, not curly braces, and we need also to change the image. So set the image and we give it null. So where is the null? To save now, we can use this reset fields. Let's go back to our, so here finally we reset the fields. Okay, so let's do that again and see if reset fields is working or not. So let's choose file. So here is our file. So let's compress the image. So the image compressed, we have here information and the form has been set to default values. Okay, so now we are done with our project. So we have created the same project twice, so using Vue.js and React.js. So I hope you did enjoy it. So if yes, so hit the subscribe button and see you in my next project.